hustling, every day I'm 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 hustling.
Who you suckers think you're tripping with? Yes, I'm the boss. 745.
Hi everyone, welcome to the best construction channel in the land. My name is Upilile Mpemba, and if you don't know me, I'm the girl that likes to play in the dirt and work in the dirt. And this channel is mainly based on just dissecting the construction market, figuring out a different perspective, understanding a different perspective, and mainly based on facts and where the market is going. So we are starting off with construction trends 2023. 2023, okay, before we go into 2023, we have to discuss 2022. 2022 wasn't bad of a year. Like, it wasn't like terrible. It wasn't like 2020. And yeah, it wasn't like 2020. A lot of companies were kind of finding their momentums of the recession. And by 2018, like, people were starting to get, like, well, a lot of companies were starting to get to a point where, like you're getting your feedback. Like, now you kind of tackling just operational problems. They weren't really market problems or environmental problems, but it was more of, like, operational problems. How are we doing? Whichever sector that you're in, your margins, and trying to increase them, trying to grow brand strength. So that's where a lot of companies, construction companies, which would, in whichever facet, were kind of gearing onto. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and it was just, like, it turned a lot of people and a lot of companies upside down. And knowing construction and knowing our industry, we know that we're a very active industry. I hate it. A lot of companies, and that's why we are finding it so hard to grow, like, from the bottom. But today is no different. We are going to just kind of touch on the industry and things that we kind of have to look for. Okay, the first one would obviously be industry growth, right? So there are a lot of factors that govern the way that organizations or construction companies move when it comes to the construction industry and what they are trying to do. Inadvertently, what they're trying to do is stronger order books. They want better control of their leverage, but also their credit. I think once you have those three factors on lock as a construction company, then you are able to tackle any operational or market factors that might come your way. So I think going into 2023, a lot of companies are going to be steering onto that. So it's bullseye, like the eye is on the bullseye, and that's where we are trying to grow. That's where we are trying to go. But in terms of just like the simplistic part of industry growth and where we've gone, we need to kind of look into construction from I like to give a lot of people perspective before I go into a lot of things. Okay, first things to understand about construction is that it is a very high risk and low margin, low return kind of environment. So that would mean, I think we are sitting on an average of about 5 to 8% margin as just an industry in itself. So, like, we are not really getting the best. Yes, we deal with a lot of money in terms of how it circulates in the industry, but like, the profit margins of the people that are actually navigating and are actually part of that ecosystem is actually pretty low, but it's livable. We're here, we are doing it, it's alive, it's great, and companies are focusing on that. Like, margins are really tight right now, but at the same time, a lot of people are looking at a lot of economies of scale, so growth within the industry in terms of the SMME perspective. Theoretically, the government has pushed in a lot of money has gone into, like, SMME growth. I'll put this in perspective. Like, we saw a lot of growth within the SMME factor, obviously because of, like, your BEE and your preferential procurement, but it wasn't really in the right manner. It wasn't in the manner of like, no one is teaching any of them to grow. Like, how to enter because now you are part of the ecosystem, but no one is actually telling the story of how you grow. Besides, you need to get more tenders in order to become a bigger contractor. It's really beyond that, and that's why we've seen the demises of construction companies. Like, the bigger ones were based on the fact that we're proof of the fact that just because you have you have certain type of leverage, or just because you are a big tenderpreneur, you're getting the big tenders, doesn't mean that you can outlast everybody. So what exactly is the strategy of the growth of the SMME is something that we really need to dissect, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. I think that's where I come in. You know, it's we hear about, you know, all the demise of the bigger construction companies and the introduction of the new ones, but we're not really talking about growth. You know, we're not really talking about that chapter where, okay, cool, so how is it that you move from being a smaller one to a bigger one? But more importantly, how do you sustain it? You know, so everybody's kind of figuring out their own way. But that's where I come in as a construction market strategist. So that brings me to my second point. What are we doing about industry performance and its profitability? We spoke about what type of industry that we are in, but obviously profitability lies within the supply chain, and whether it's disrupted or not, it's going to be within the profit margins and project delivery. Like that's literally where profitability lies within this industry. So we kind of have to tighten everything up. Obviously, in as much as we recovered, not really recovered, but like there are a lot of shortages within the supply value chain, and there are a lot of disruptions within the supply value chains. And obviously that is it pours onto so many things: lead times, margins, profitability, costs. There are so many things that the value chain really disrupts if it's shaken. So we really need so going into this industry, you really need to understand where exactly in the value chain you are, from a self-introspective perspective, where exactly in the value chain and how you can actually add more value. You know, as a marketer, I'm always saying it's either you will sell service or product on who you are, what you do, and at what it costs. So it's going to be your utility, your value, and everything else. But if you understand exactly where you stand in the value chain and create value there in order to kind of triumph the competition without basing it mainly on price, then you have won. You have won, you know? So I think going into it, understanding that there are going to be factors that we can't really control, having your guy. I always say have your guy everywhere. If you have a guy everywhere that is willing to go above and beyond for you, navigating this industry is going to be so much smoother for you. So that brings me to my third point, which is labor shortage, skill shortage, but at the same time, a lot of people are still unemployed. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy what is happening within like this industry and where we are going. But I say, in hopes of combating such things, one, I think a more connected construction is going to help pinpoint where our problems are, and kind of put measures to kind of combat them. And obviously that goes to your AR, your BIMs, and a more connected construction and a more integrated construction, and us really understanding and holding fort, you know, like, it's very important for us to understand what the next person is doing, you know? So even within these sketchy times of crazy lead times, really high cost of materials, really crappy margins, we are really still making it, you know? The industry, we're still seeing a lot of work being done, obviously with a lot of release of the projects that were on standstill because of COVID. It has really seen the industry really start to employ again. Because the one thing that construction does for sure, is that whenever there's a little bit of a shake, you know, there will always be someone that is retrenched. Like, it should be construction, retrenchment, industry. So the latter of 2022 really saw construction companies employing again, because, you know, it was safe to do so. You're really kind of seeing that unemployment gap going down, not as quick as we'd want to, though, and not to the avenues where people want to go. I think a lot of people in construction go where they have an opportunity or go where there's space. We're not really creating intentional spaces for a lot of the skills versus the labor that we want to go into, yes, we're going to talk about different grades of labor. Of labor, we go from like basically a shortage of trying to find people that are actually going to build for you, like the physical people, like the workers, you know, to a point of like the professionals where we still have a shortage there, you know, and the shortages might be based on two different things. But there are still shortages to a certain degree, and in terms of reliability and longevity within those sectors or within that company. So I think creating values out of the construction companies that we are creating, understanding what we are trying to do, and uplifting and really upskilling the people that once you get a person, upskill them. You know, that's what I say. Once you get a person, upskill them. It's very easy. It's very hard to lose someone who is genuinely being upskilled in your company. It's very hard to lose, you know. But and push people up. We need to push people up so people can start having those specialist knowledge instead of, you know, bringing back all the old people and reincarnating them into some sort of consultants and creating a barrier between that information that they should be passing on, because now they are capping it and they are becoming consultants even after their retirement age. That's crazy. You know, that's crazy. Upskilling like the younger people is better for longevity, you know? So yeah. Which brings me to my next point. This is a very unfortunate point, and that is lack of project funding versus Chinese companies being awarded those crazy Sanral projects. Like, it's crazy. But the reason why Sanral would have to go with the Chinese companies is because they can self-fund. You know, like a lot of the things that we don't discuss within just the construction industry is the fact that funding is hard to access, you know, and growth of the SMME lies within that funding. You know, you can be eligible to get a 10 million rand tender, but can you finance it? You know, like just on your own just on your own basic finances, can you finance it? And a lot of companies no. And are we getting those loans? No, you know. So it's a crawling up the construction and the market ladder to become a successful contractor or to be a successful practitioner within the construction industry is hard, you know, because there are so many beams in between those that you're supposed to be crossing to get to a certain level that are missing. So now you're sitting there by the second beam and the next one is the eighth, and you're trying to jump, and obviously you don't have all of these the steps in between to get you there. So going into 2023, I think we really need to look into getting better funding avenues, because those are going to help the SMMEs grow and be eligible for those projects. But not only just being eligible, it's being able to do it. You know, like a lot of people go into this industry and they're like, oh yes, I'm eligible. Are you going to be able to do it? Can you go a year within that project, or those standstills or whatever? Can you afford all of that? And a lot of the companies, no, they can't. So I think going into like 2023, I think better funding systems we really need to speak about it. It's something that I'm really passionate about also, because that's the only way that we'd grow. And that brings me to my next point: decrease of the construction mafia. Obviously the rise of the BBF has kind of suppressed or really put the foot on the construction mafia's neck. Great. But I also don't want us to forget how the construction, what was the point of the construction mafia? You know, one that name, the construction mafia, it makes it sound so dumb. And obviously, if you're going to pour that much negativity into something, it's going to turn into something foul, you know. But I don't want us to forget what was the whole point of the construction mafia and how we still have those problems now. You know, there's no point rushing to suffocate systems that are fighting for Black people, and there's no point in creating those systems also to suppress other Black people and destroying what the narrative of what that organization was based on, you know. So I think we really need to give power to the BBF because we need it. We need a system, and not necessarily the BBF, but we really need a system and an organization that is going to be speaking for SMMEs, black SMMEs especially, in the right manner, in the correct rooms, and in an unselfish manner. You know, because I've realized a lot of people go into a lot of boardrooms and a lot of meetings, and come out, and they're the only ones that have won from that whole thing. You know, and we need to be very, very vigilant and aware of those type of things, because they really cripple us. You know, if you're going into a certain conversation trying to fight for the minority, don't change now because they asked to change your life. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So let me cap it there. You know, before all of that, now I want us to go into the cream of the thing. I want us to look at certain industries and look at different industries and how they did in 2022 in order for us to see where we should be putting our projects from now onwards. Let's look at some market trends. Just based on some market intel from Leads to Business, which is accurate, just to kind of see where we are going. So let's go into projects. Voice over time. So we're talking about market intel today, right? We're talking about market intelligence. We're talking about just understanding the system behind tendering. Yes, a lot of us know how to fill out tenders, but we need to also understand what is happening within the tender atmosphere in order for us to understand why some tenders are working, why maybe you didn't get a response, or you know, like what is actually happening within the environment. So I'm going to go into my Leads to Business market intelligence, right? I'm going to do a date range from 30 of last year to the 30th of this year. And that's why I wanted to do this video now, just to kind of give us a gauge on what exactly was happening last year when it came to just how were tenders awarded, what type of tenders were awarded, in which industries were popping. Because on this channel, we also have people that are not just focused on construction. So they kind of tender into a lot of things. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to click on to just the building. So infrastructure, and that is just tenders published over time, right? And that is from last year to this year. So you can kind of see that it kind of takes off. From January, and then no, it doesn't take off because it's kind of in the middle. It's kind of just really slow. Actually, it starts taking off roundabout. You can see here. I think it's about August, and with this, I would credit it to a lot of municipalities and their financial year starting again in July. So which means that a whole lot of tenders are starting to get pushed out because now they've got new budgets and all of that. So from July till the end of the year, it starts getting a bit busier. So that is something that I would like you guys to actually look out for, to understand, you know, like when tenders will be published a bit more because of just the financial activities of the SOEs. There's tenders going published over time. So you can see there that from last year to this year, about 8,926 tenders were published. And that's not a lot, guys. Like that's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. It's actually a bit scary, you know. So that also helps us with the fact that understanding that it's not you, you know, it's the environment. A lot of people I find that I speak to get really frustrated with the works that they are doing in terms of just tenders and feeling like they are not doing something right. Sometimes it's not about you, it's about the environment. And I think that's why tenders have become so competitive, is because there's so little that is coming out. And it makes it really hard for the newbies who don't have their pricing strategies, who don't have their product strategies in place yet, to kind of win, you know. So we are all kind of fighting for the same pie, which makes it really difficult. So if you had a really difficult year last year in terms of your tenders, you weren't the problem. Don't worry. Okay, so we'll go to our next one. This one is my favorite. You know why? Because I feel like, in as much as I feel like with newbies, you should always focus within your own region and get well versed in that. But it also, from a strategic point of view, you know what is you need to understand what is happening within just the South African landscape, so we can actually understand where the projects or where the public works are going to be. And in retrospect, and that's why it's important to actually look in retrospect on where were the hot places in terms of just tenders last year. So it's a lot of suppliers and a lot of contractors kind of moving African, and that's because of the hectic projects, the development projects that were happening there. But let's look in more into South Africa, right? We all know that Joburg is the hub of a lot of things. So in terms of just development, especially residential, we saw a lot of hikes there in Joburg, followed by KwaZulu-Natal. We know that we did with all the Sanral projects and residential also here. Then followed by the Eastern Cape. So if you are, from a strategic point of view, understanding where to move your business, what is happening, where are the works that are going to be happening within the next couple of months, look into what happened last year and then move back to, okay, cool. So if a certain amount of projects have been awarded or have been published within this region, that means that there's a lot of works that is happening there, which would mean that it would be wise to kind of move into the places that are hot. With tendering, you don't really plant, you kind of put your feet in the mud for that amount of time just to anchor yourself and then move on to the next place. And then we go to tenders published by category. This is also very important, because now, knowing, like, for instance, me, I've locked into a certain type of product type, and I need to understand what is happening within the sphere that I'm working in. So in terms of just being able to create strategic decisions, you need to know, even if you are looking to add on a product type, or to add on an industry, or to add on a different category, or to diversify, you want to know which kind of places are really kind of generating those RFQs. So this would be really important for that. You can see that infrastructure definitely is one of the bigger ones, but you've got fencing, electrical and instrument, consulting is one of the big ones also, building. So I'm going to pause it there, and you can see facilities management has a lot of tenders. So if you are looking to kind of go into just diversifying your portfolio, I think this is actually really good intel for you to see where exactly you need to be going into. So a lot of consultants right now are really getting a lot of money, obviously, because you need consultants in order to start a lot of projects. But you can see that supplier database is not that much, hey? So we really need to kind of also be aware of the other things that are happening within construction. Material and supplies, you see, you've got about 5,972 there, and that's why I'm always. It's a really great place to start, because it doesn't require a lot of experience. It just requires a lot of strategy. So that is why I love being able to give you guys kind of intel on how to become a supplier first, and then kind of move from there. And then we have the last one, which is shocking, guys. Look at this. This is tenders published by Status, right? So what is really happening here is the fact that pink box, right, is unawarded projects. So out of all the projects that were tendered out last year, 83% of them weren't awarded. So can you imagine? It's obviously it talks into a lot of things that we spoke about earlier, but it also means that there are opportunities for them to be awarded, or government spend. There's a lot of things that are happening, and that's why, guys, it's so important for us to be able to understand exactly what is happening. Like unawarded projects were 5,190. 183 of them were retendered, and 271 were withdrawn. So the unawarded ones place great opportunity for us to kind of say, okay, cool. They might have not. They might have not gotten the right suppliers, so it gives us an opportunity. It might have been spent, it might have been, like a lot of things. So there are a lot of opportunities when it comes to just the unawarded tenders coming into this year. Private and public partnerships are really taking a turn for the good. So we really have a lot of things on our plates right now that we can work on in terms of the building environment. But it's not going to come as easy as getting a tender and becoming a millionaire, guys. There are a lot of things that we're going to kind of have to strategize in order to get the industry forward, in order to get those tenders awarded, in order to be able to establish those companies and them being profitable, in order for us to be able to create great stakeholder relationship around Black suppliers, contractors, and just people within the built environment. So I think I'm going to leave you there, guys, for today. It's been a great pleasure starting off the year with you guys. I didn't say Happy New Year when I started off the video, but Happy New Year. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. And I hope that you guys are starting off the year on a push, and I hope that this video has kind of helped you kind of strategize what you are going to do in 2023. So until next time, I sign off. My name is Upilile Mpemba again, and if you are not subscribed, please make sure that you are subscribing. We need to be moving, man. We need to grow, to a great 2023, guys, to a strategic 2023, to building better companies, better people, better stakeholders, and informing those that aren't in order for them to become stakeholders. Thank you again for coming on to The Construct. And if you love this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you think it's great, please share it. Until next time, guys. Bye.